Hi guys, and welcome back to another Dot Race video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, continuing on with our Moto 2 World Championship. It's round 9, right here in German GP of Sachsenring. So starting in pole position is Grant with Sam Lowes and Gardner on the front row, Bezzecchi, Fernandez and Roberts on the second, Di Giannantonio, Ogura, Arbolino, Canet, Vierge, Dixon, Ben Schneider, Navarro, Fernandez, Ramirez, Luti, Schrotter, Manzi, Baldassare, Dalla Porta, Arenas, Montella, Vietti, Shireen, Corsi, Baltis, Bobier, Garzo, Tomka, Chandra, and finally at the back of the grid, Nicolo Bulega. So we now look to the lights for the man on pole position, the Moto 2 World Championship leader, and away we go! 14 laps of this German GP is now upon us, and we are ready and going, with Sam Lowes taking the whole shot. Will he maintain the lead going into turn 1? Grant gets pushed wide a little bit as Remy Gardner now shows himself and gets him up into the lead. Remy Gardner takes over the front. Almost contact made there from Sam Lowes and Remy Gardner as Marco Bezzecchi now thinks about a move going on to the inside of Grant. He couldn't get the job done, but Grant tries now to go inside of Sam Lowes. He gets the job done. Beautifully done there from the number 47, but the number 87, Remy Gardner, is into the lead, and it looks like he's already checking out. We've seen it in Qatar, we won't be seeing it here today, surely. We can't allow that to happen. We put us under too much pressure, and of course we were under pressure last time out in Catalonia, and that went kaput. We can't be doing the same here today. We have to stay focused, we have to stay within our limits, and we have to stay within Remy Gardner's range to try and stop him from breaking away. Now into turn 10 onto the left hand side. I have to be careful going into that corner, because if you bring it in too tight, you cut across the corner, you go onto the green and give yourself a track limit warning. And of course we're trying to avoid the long lap penalties. They don't do us any good. They don't do anyone any good, as a matter of fact. So we need to avoid that and make sure we are chasing down Remy Gardner in style. Something I didn't mention, but I probably better tell you about it. I decided this race just to do power setting 2 and power setting 2 only. I felt like we wouldn't need to use power setting 3, so I thought I'd change things up and give it a bash here today. Fingers crossed that doesn't come round and bite me in the backside. However, I'm still happy to say that we are going for power setting 2. A little bit of a challenge, if you will, as we get closer and closer and closer to Remy Gardner. Hopefully we can beat Remy Gardner with just utilising power setting 2. And that would be fine and dandy. Certainly a succulent dish to dine on, knowing that we could beat Remy Gardner with power setting 2. But hey-ho, I mustn't get too into this. We need to still focus. We have a lot of laps remaining. And of course, the tyre wear is going to be very, very tough. So that's why I did use a hard front and a medium rear, but we're right on the rear of the Red Bull KTM IO rider. It's just a matter of time, it's a matter of when, not a matter of if. We will be getting closer and closer. Now onto the left-hand side for turn 8, getting really tight now. We could potentially go down into the lunge for the Saxon curve, potentially, after the waterfall section. Now onto turn 10. Keep it nice and tight. Get right behind Remy Gardner as we chuck it into the right-hander of turn 11. Ooh, we're going to run it a little bit too wide. I thought it was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. We haven't had it all weekend, and that was touching the green on the down of the waterfall, going a little bit too wide, touching the rumble strip, touching the green, and then giving ourselves a track limit warning. 1 of 5 to be exact. If you get the 5th one, of course, that is a long lap penalty. So we're going to do our best to try and avoid that here today. But across the line we go. Remy Gardner is the fastest man on track right now with a 1:23.464. Grant couldn't match his pace. He did a 1:23.692. Sam Lowes behind by roughly around 0.2 of a second. He, of course, riding the momentum, winning last time out in Catalonia in quite dominant fashion. He did a superb job, Sam Lowes. We haven't seen the best of the man from Lincolnshire yet this season, but fear not, we are about to see more heroics and more style and speed from Sam Lowes. Of course, you cannot count out Sam Lowes. He is brilliant at what he does, and I'm very, very pleased to be doing battle with him here today. Sad to not see any of my Petronas Sprinter teammates there on the left-hand side of the screen. Hopefully they haven't dropped back too far. I did see that Jake Dixon qualified relatively well. We're not seeing him compete at the minute in the top 8. So back on the familiar left-hand side for this track. Of course, so many left-hand turns, 9 left-hand turns and 4 right-hands. It really shows you what side is dominant in this clockwise Grand Prix. As you can see in the bottom right-hand side of your screen there, you can see the left-hand side of the medium rear tyre is already looking a bit battered, and we've only completed 3 laps, or we will be completing 3 laps as we get right onto the rear of Remy Gardner now. The Australian's going to have to do something pretty impressive to defend against Grant. He is in a league of his own this season, winning 3 races in a row, and then of course crashing out in Catalonia. Didn't end the streak very well, but nonetheless it was still a damn decent streak nonetheless. But now we did set a 1:23.131 there, and visibly you could tell we were getting closer and closer to Remy Gardner there. So now it's just a matter of time of getting with him and making the pass. We might be able to catch up to him, but it's a different story about actually trying to get through on a man who's so difficult to overtake and such a fierce competitor within Remy Gardner. But we go onto the left-hand side now for turn 5. We'll be trying to line him up towards the left-hand side in a bit for turn 9. I don't think we can quite make it, potentially for turn 8, I mean, this next potential corner, getting my numbers mixed up there. Turn 7 is now upon us. Turn 8 here to the left-hand side. If we can get in close enough, we might be able to have a lunge. Not here, not right now, but potentially later on if we get closer and closer. Now into turn 9, we're right onto the rear. We're practically sat on his bike there for him. Can we get the change of direction going into turn 10? This would be bloody brilliant if we can get it done. Not quite. Turn 11 was not good enough for Grant. We've got to keep pushing forwards. Go into turn 12. Could we get into the lead? Grant thought about a lunge. He definitely did. I thought about it, and probably you did too, as we got very close there to the back of the Red Bull KTM. Now going into the left-hand side for the Queckenberg for the fourth time of asking, making a lot of mistakes in the commentary here today. My apologies, but we do go across the line, and that is lap 5 begun, lap 5 commenced. What can we do here in the 5th lap of 14? Now onto the right-hand side for turn 1. Remy Gardner looks so smooth going into that corner. Marquez and Miguel Oliveira-esque like we've seen this season. Didn't put a foot wrong into that particular corner. Neither is Remy Gardner right now. Grant opts with a very tight line there, and he just touched the rumble strip. You have to be so careful with touching the rumble strip there because it is absolutely treacherous. I made mention to this in the qualifying session just 4 hours ago. Do be very, very careful if you go anywhere near that particular rumble strip, especially the banked rumble strips. Oh my goodness, you can pay dearly for touching one of the banked rumble strips, so do be warned, heed my advice and don't touch them. Now onto the left hand side once again, this time for turn 8. Do stay off the rumble strip. No, I didn't heed my own advice. Ooh, that was very, very close. But the left-hand side of that rear tyre is looking absolutely awful. And we're not even halfway through this Grand Prix. As Grant touches the wall! Goodness me! What on earth? And I can't view behind me. What? I can't view behind me. I'm trying to press the right stick in to see behind me, and it's not allowing me to. If you can see, the camera changes, but it just changes it from the third-person perspective to the third-person perspective. What on earth is that? That's a terrible glitch. Can I move the camera around? I can move the camera around, but if I try and look, it just puts the neck back. What on earth has gone on there? That is absolutely crucial for me because I never know if I need to have a good look behind. As a rule, if I ever go wide and touch the green, or if I do anything too drastically impressive or whatever you want to say, I'll always look around to make sure that I'm not riding there. Sam Lowes is now getting a bit eager. He's trying to get through on us. I didn't expect this. This has completely thrown me off my stride here. But what on earth has happened with that? Now I'm constantly thinking about it during this race, but we need to focus again because Sam Lowes has now got ahead of us, and Sam Lowes is going to start chucking in the lap times. We need to make sure we can stay ahead of Sam and start chasing down Remy ourselves. That one little mistake just by touching the wall there has completely scuppered our chances of fighting with Remy Gardner right now. We're going to have to do everything we can to try and bounce back and beat him. Or at least beat this man in front of us right now. We have to beat the man from Lincolnshire because, as Andy Yates said in the last video, Lincolnshire 1 versus Warrington 0, as Sam Lowes beat me to the victory last time in Catalonia, where I crashed out quite heavily as we touched the green once again. We could be looking at along that penalty. 3 track limit warnings already as Grant goes up in the inside. Sam Lowes tries to fight back. Will Sam Lowes have the speed? He won't, not this time. Good stuff there from Grant getting back ahead of Sam Lowes. But of course, Remy Gardner has eked out the most pivotal advantage you could ever look at in your life. 1 second, I can't stress this enough. 1 second will break the resolve of most chasers. 1 second will also break the resolve of someone who's chasing, or whatever I'm trying to say, you get it. 1 second is the gap that you want to have. The riders can be more comfortable, the riders are going to be in a nice groove, nice rhythm, but the rider behind knows that 1 second gap is a big bug to bear. It is super difficult to break down a 1 second barrier. However, Matt Grant is not like most riders. We're in pursuit. We are going to chase down Remy Gardner, and we're going to give him the big don't argue as we'll chuck it up on the inside in a corner coming very, very soon. Left-hand side of the rear tyre is looking very worse for wear. It is absolutely roasty. We're going to have to be very careful with that. Left-hand side, we are up by 0.2 per second. Remy Gardner, if he touched the inside, whoa, what a save! Oh, my lord! The left, oh, he completely went. Oh, heads in hands for the people at home. Oh my lord, and we can't look behind us to see when we can re-enter the track. I'm speechless, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, I just mentioned about the rear tyre not gripping because of it was toasty, and it really didn't grip there. What a miraculous save there for the Moto3 World Champion. But we are in hot water right now. The water's no longer tepid, it is absolutely boiling. We're behind Bo Benschneider in 13th position as we now dive up on the inside of the Dutchman and try and get in behind teammate Xavi Vierge and American rider Joe Roberts. What a disaster. I can't believe we buckled under pressure once again. I was singing my praises, telling us how we're different to the other riders, and yet there we are, making a big blunder in this German GP. This track doesn't want to be kind to me. We got pipped for victory last season by Andrea Mino in the Moto3 class, and now we're going to get beaten here today because there is absolutely no way on earth we're going to chase down Remy Gardner now, not when it's a 6-second lead. I might have been a bit cocky with the old 1-second lead, but a 6-second lead? Yeah, I think I'll not bother. But goodness me, this Moto2 Championship has had it really has had its moments. This is another bizarre race. This career mode in general has just been absolutely awesome. But this is not awesome for the sense of the championship. We have lost a lot of points to Remy Gardner if we don't book our ideas up here. We need to get in behind Xavi Vierge, get past him, and start chucking in some better lap times and developing some confidence. I am refusing to still use power setting 3. I decided at the beginning we would use power setting 2, so I'm going to stick with it to the end. I don't even care if it's going to be the death of me at the end of it, but we are sticking with power setting 2. We still can't look behind us. There's no look back button, because for some reason it just moves the head, but it doesn't actually move the camera angle. But we need to calm down a little bit. I'm beginning to rest a little bit. I've sat back in my chair. My hands are no longer on my head. You probably heard the squeak of when I rested back in the chair. Usually I try and avoid that, but anyway, we're getting a little bit sidetracked as we got to go into turn 1 and get behind Xavi Vierge as we just, I don't believe it, oh, the hands are back on the head again. I've just touched the green once more. We have to now do 5 more laps without touching. Oh, that is ridiculous. I can't believe we got penalised for that. We hardly gained an advantage, but that is a fantastic move going up at the inside of teammate Xavi Vierge. We're trying to chase down Aaron Canet, Agora, and I do believe that's one of the MV Augustas in there as well, and I can see Augusto Fernandez will also be trying to get through on that Elf Mark VDS rider, but great result so far for Remy Gardner, Sam Lowes and Marco Bezzecchi. We haven't seen the Sky VR46 rider on the podium as much as I would have expected this season. Maybe this one is going to bounce him back, maybe this is going to project him forward into bigger, bolder and better things. Who knows, but that is, a podium can do you great confidence, it can do you wonder good. And also, being on the podium and making a mistake and almost finishing out of the points doesn't do you any good. So bear that in mind, Grant, for the next couple of races. We don't want to be replicating Catalonia, and we don't want to be replicating this one either, as we get a little bit too tight there on the apex. Mentioned this many a times, I'm still doing it, getting too close to those apexes, touching the rumble strip and just sliding the motorcycle about out of shape. Certainly not ideal as, oh wow, that was super close to touching the sand on the right hand side of the track there. We should really consider moving up to power setting 3 because this is not working. We're going to be beaten by Xavi Vierge going into turn 1, and there's Jorge Navarro. He's diving up on the inside. Full aggression there from the man on board the speed up. Tom Luthi and Bo Benschneider behind us, the two teammates, the Dutchman and the Swiss rider. Now onto the right hand side, there is Tom Luthi. You can just see his familiar yellow helmet there as we cut the corner. I don't believe that. No, I can't. No, I didn't think we were going to get the penalty, but that was an accident. Oh my god. I've made another mistake. This track has just killed me. We have just ruined it. This has gone heck to a handbasket so quickly, and I'm still not using power setting 3. My stubborn self, we really need it as we go wide. Oh, this is just unbelievable. I can't look behind me, can I, to re-enter the track? Wish me luck. I'm just going to have to rejoin. Oh, this is terrible. Assend can't come soon enough, let me be honest with you. The German GP has not favoured Matt Grant right now. It has been awful. We managed to come out of qualifying one smelling of roses, but it hasn't really materialised into something special here this weekend. We've gone wide into the Saxon curve, getting stuck on the rumble strip. We're going to have to take the long lap penalty. We know we've got to do it, so might as well get it out of the way with. And that means we have 4 laps to contend with, probably out of the points at this point. We've got Lorenzo Dalla Porta there, we've got Bo Benschneider. I'm trying to take a look behind me. I'm utilising the camera movement and, of course, the look behind button. as we now go into turn 1 to do the long lap penalty. And we're getting beaten up here. Lord almighty, Alberto Arenas bumped us on the left-hand side there. As Grant goes into the long lap penalty, he is now in 22nd place. What a disaster for the Moto 2 World Championship leader. Now, I do believe that Grant will be leading the championship regardless of what happens here today, but that is absolutely crucial for the championship. We had a great advantage where it's just been whittled down. You can see Joe Roberts there. Something must have happened to the American, because we were battling with him earlier on, so not sure what's happened to Joe Roberts, but he is there in 21st, so not good for the man from America. We are 0.5 of a second down from him, so we're just going to keep pushing forward, try not to run it wide into turn 8 once again. We did have some consistent pace early on, some couple of 123s in there, and I think even before that we got into the low 123s, but this track has just done us no favours here today. There's 2 tracks that I particularly don't like, maybe 3 if you call it. The Sachsenring, the Kimi Ring, and I'm not a big fan of the Twin Ring Motegi, and it is clearly showing here today that I'm not a fan of the Sachsenring. I don't do well at the Sachsenring. I did really well last season in Moto 3, but we took the 2nd place and we were just more than happy with it. But taking a 21st is going to be a massive, massive disappointment, especially after qualifying in pole position. Granted, I did say we're going to do only power setting 2, which I probably won't do, because that clearly hasn't helped us at all. And I haven't really upgraded the bike yet. I've done a couple of frame upgrades, but I never actually upgraded everything. So maybe I should heed the Ace's advice and start upgrading the motorcycle, because I think it could do with it. I do notice on the straights we suffer no matter what in power setting 3 or even in power setting 2. We can't seem to stay with the other riders. But there is Celestino Vietti. He has run it a little bit wide with his battle with Samkiat Chantra, the Thai rider. Now, Joe Roberts has gone down. Something is not right with Joe Roberts in this one. Really disastrous weekend for the man here in the German GP. We're getting on the left-hand side for turn 8. We might be able to pick up a few points. They're bunched up somewhat, but I don't know if we're going to be able to get to the head of this group. I think it's Bo Benschneider and Tom Luthi that are leading the 14th and 15th positions. But we're going to do everything we can as we run it a little bit wide. And there's another track limit warning to add to the collection. The plethora of the track limit warnings in this Grand Prix today. You know how we usually say to put that in the dot race archive for overtakes? Put that in the archive for the long lap penalties, because that is another one to add to the tally. Now, coming out of the final corner, this will be the start of the penultimate lap. That is another 123.1 though, so Grant has found his rhythm once again, but it is far too late to do anything about it. We might be able to get through on both Celestino Vietti and perhaps Tomcat Chantra, and maybe even Cameron Bobier is a little bit further ahead, but there isn't anything really on offer for Grant here today. Disastrous race, so once the first mistake occurred, it was really over for Grant. We tried to get back into the groove, and then we made that second mistake. Things went really, really downhill, so I guess as always, when I do make a mistake, I'd like to apologise to the Aces and apologise to the fans, because that isn't what you came to see. This is not why you're still watching the Grand Prix. You want me to do well, you want me to do good, you want me to impress and do some good overtakes, and we have not done that here today. But going into turn 8, we ran it wide once again. Turn 8 has been really difficult for Matt Grant in this one, as we get onto the left-hand side once again for turn 10. Still utilising power setting 2, of course. I didn't cheat on you. Still utilising just the second power option as we touch the green once again. There's another track limit warning. So if you didn't have enough track limit warnings for today, take 2 more home with you. Put them in a doggy bag, if you will, and save them for later on. As we now go into the final corner for the Queckenberg, onto the left-hand side of the tyre. Not sure what I'm laughing at, because this has been an absolute disgrace of a race. But if you can't laugh at yourself, then when can you laugh, or whatever the saying is. Now going into turn 1, Cameron Bobier is in 18th place. We might be able to pinch his pockets, and potentially Alberto Arenas. And I would definitely like to get back ahead of Alberto Arenas after he punched me into turn 1. That really messed up our entry going into the long lap penalty. The AI should definitely take that into consideration. If someone's going in for the long lap penalty, they shouldn't just pump them up the rear. But now onto the right-hand side, Bo Benschneider's there, getting closer and closer to the Dutchman. We might be able to get into 15th place. I think that's Alberto Arenas having a good old look behind him. Tom Luthi into 16th place. Bo Benschneider, his teammate, he's in 17th, so no points on offer for that particular team, the SAG Racing team. Onto the left-hand side for turn 7. we might be able to get close enough here. And I've still got to give myself some credit because we did a 1:23.1 just 2 laps ago, and then 1:23.3 just on the lap prior. So we are still doing some very good lap times. Probably similar to the pace of Remy Gardner as we cut the corner once again. I think I've just given up at this point. Now onto the right-hand side for turn 11. Getting the right acceleration here is a necessity to getting in. We might have another long lap penalty if we're not careful. Dive over the inside now as Bo Benchline. Whoa, very, very close there to Tom Luthi. As we get on the left-hand side, we did run it wide into the Saxon curve. We probably won't be picking up any points now as we go into the final turn. Remy Gardner wins with Sam Lowes and Marco Bezzecchi in third place, and an absolute disaster for the Moto2 Championship leader, Matt Grant. So as mentioned, Remy Gardner wins with Lowes and Bezzecchi second and third. Raul Fernandez misses out on the podium by 3 seconds. Disastrous race for Grant, who finishes out of the points and earns nothing for the World Championship standings. So a quick look at the Championship standings. Grant still leads by 11 points over Sam Lowes, 14 ahead of Raul Fernandez, and just 18 ahead of Remy Gardner, the race winner for today. Quick look at the Team Championship, and the Red Bull KTM IO team are leading quite comfortably now with 35 points ahead of Petronas Sprinter Racing and 55 ahead of Elfmark VDS Racing Team. So guys, of course there'll be no podium celebration for us because I stink, but never mind, we'll be bouncing back better and bolder in Assen in a couple of days' time. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching the video. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single Dot Race upload. And upon that note guys, thank you for watching and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more Dot Race content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single Dr. Race video.